What's up, everybody? D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another, I don't know, what is this? I guess I could say another top 10 list for the movies that I've seen this year. So I've only ever done one of these. I think I did one last year for 2017. I put like Baby Driver and all those fun ones on it. We're doing it again this year. So if you don't know how these work, it's a top 10 list of movies that I like this year. It's just my opinion. So if you disagree with it, good for you. You can leave your own top 10 list down below. I saw quite a bit of movies this year. I think these are the ones I wrote down, like everyone that I could remember seeing. I may have missed some here and there, but I think I got everything right. In terms of my opinion, I don't think there's anything that I really like that I'm missing out on. So here's my list for 2018. So we'll go from number 10 to number 1. Number 1 being my favorite, number 10 being my least favorite. Number 10, it is Rampage. This one came out in the summer, around the time Pacific Rim came out. I don't actually remember the release date, but I did have a fun time with this one. You know, I reviewed it. I was like, yeah, it's a perfect popcorn entertainment movie. It's like it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a kaiju movie, so that's always a bonus. But yeah, it was a pretty fun action movie. I really like the performances from the cast in there. Dwayne Johnson does a great job, and so does Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who kills it in every role. But yeah, I thought Rampage was a lot of fun. Number 9 is Pacific Rim Uprising. I know a lot of people disliked Uprising. It's number 9 on my list. I didn't love the movie. I think it's good, and I struggled which one I wanted to put at number 10 and number 9, Rampage or Pacific Rim. I think ultimately what it comes down to is when I watch Uprising, I feel inspired to make videos more so than I do when I watch Rampage, even though I don't make Pacific Rim Uprising videos. There's legal reasons as to why I don't. Universal's really strict on copyright and they make me want to die. But it basically came down to which one inspires my passion more, and it's Uprising. Yeah, Pacific Rim Uprising secures the number 9 slot. I think the characters are alright. I really like the adult cast. The kids are what drag the movie down. They're actually all that I think drags the movie down, because I think the robot fighting is awesome. I think the Jaeger on Jaeger action is really cool, and I think the kaiju stuff is really good. So I think Uprising is real fun, you know, so it's at number 9. Number 8, this one's a shock. I didn't really think this one would wind up on the list, but A Quiet Place. You know, this one's like, everyone's like, yes, John Krasinski, what a man. Yeah, nope. Yeah, this is a great movie. He did a great job directing this movie. He does a great job acting in it. It's a very powerful movie. You know, obviously the gimmick here, I guess if you want to call it a gimmick, is that there's very little dialogue, which is a new spin on movies. I've never really seen anything like that before. The sound design is so well done in this movie. It's a very intense film with very good emotional payoff. Yeah, I definitely recommend A Quiet Place. It's one of the only horror movies to make it on the list. So yeah, I thought it was real good. And you guys should know at this point that horror is like one of my favorite genres. So I'm glad that we got such a great horror movie this year. At number 7, we have Deadpool 2. Not to be confused with Deadpool 2, Once Upon a Deadpool. Deadpool 2, the original Deadpool 2, the one that came out early this year. It was a lot of fun. I don't like it as much as I like the first Deadpool. I think some of the jokes don't land as well as they should have, or I think that they redo some of the things that they did in the first movie a bit too much in the second movie, to the point where it suffers from sequelitis a little bit. But I do really like Deadpool 2. I loved Josh Brolin as Cable. He's my favorite part of the movie, and I'm a big fan of the first Deadpool. Plus, going and seeing Deadpool 2, I saw it with like 15 people. It was a big group of people. It was a lot of fun. And number 6 on my list, this one is semi-controversial, I guess. It's Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. I understand that not a lot of people liked it, right? Not a lot of Godzilla fans in America liked it. The Japanese are fairly open to it, but not a lot of American fans liked it. I'm not one of them. I really enjoyed Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. I think it has some very fun action at the very end, but before that, I love the story. I love the human characters. We get to learn a lot about them. Great character development. And this movie, it didn't blow me away the first time I saw it. It took repeat viewings for me to finally really appreciate appreciate it, but the first few times I watched it, I found myself underwhelmed with it, and the more I've watched it, like I said, I really have appreciated it a lot more, and it has started to become a movie that I really do gravitate towards and want to watch more and more. Again, I've said this in videos in the past, I completely understand if people don't like this movie. That's entirely okay. You know, I get it. I get why people don't like it. I understand the complaints. I'm not put off by Mechagodzilla City. I'm not put off by the human characters. I actually really enjoy at least some of them. I like Haruo and Mephies, and I think Martin's pretty cool. I did really like Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. Not as much as I like Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, but I did still like City. At number 5 on our list, we have Halloween 2018. This movie is awesome. It is so good. It's like the best horror movie I've seen in theaters ever. It's a really good movie. I thought it had loads of great callbacks to the previous movies in the franchise. I'd done a Halloween franchise marathon leading up to when the movie came out, so I was ready for it. I was all in. I got to watch the movie with my brother, and it was awesome, and my friend was there. It was real cool. Not as scary as a horror movie could be. Pretty brutal. I did like how brutal it was from a directing standpoint. It was pretty good. The only downfall I had with it was the editing. I didn't always love. It didn't always linger on shots as long as I'd like it to, and it cut quite a bit. But the camera angles, the cinematography, certain scenes which have one-shot takes that go on for quite a while are really cool, and the soundtrack is amazing. So I loved Halloween 2018. The performances also were amazing. Very little that I disliked about this movie. Number 4 on the list. This one, I really struggled. I didn't know. Like, this one could have been number 1 very easily, but I put it at number 4 for a few reasons that we'll get into when we get into the top 3. Mission Impossible Fallout. What an awesome movie. Great action. This is one of the best and most interestingly directed movies I've ever seen. The action scenes are just amazing. I said this in the past, and I'll say it again. Mission Impossible Fallout is the perfect movie to watch when constructing an action sequence, because the action is so well handled, the stakes are high, the tension is great, you really feel it in this movie. This is how you should do action scenes. It's perfect with action sequences, and the story is also great, real fun, lots of twists. The twists are very interesting. I didn't see all of them coming, so that's always nice. There's absolutely nothing about this movie that I disliked. I loved the soundtrack, I loved Tom Cruise, I loved Henry Cavill, I loved every bit of it. This movie was great. That being said, if there's one thing that it was missing, it didn't give me chills or a nostalgic moment like the next 3 did, and that's why it's at number 4. Number 3 is Ready Player One. Ready Player One, I was super hyped up about. I was very much looking forward to it, to the point where this is the first movie I've ever bought the book to and then read the book before I saw the movie. I read the book, I loved the book, then I loved it so much I got the audiobook on Audible, and I listened to the full book on Audible before the movie came out, and then I saw the movie, and it was awesome. I loved Ready Player One. It did disappoint me at first because I didn't like it as much as the book, but then I saw it a second time, and once I realized Ready Player One, the book and the movie are 2 different things, like once I accepted that, I was like, nope, this movie's great. Great soundtrack, like really good. Alan Silvestri kills it here. Awesome special effects. I love the way the Oasis looks. Great characters. It's a lot of fun. Super cool Easter eggs and references. Real good action, and Mechagodzilla with the Ifukube music playing. That is the moment that gave me chills. That's what pushed this over Fallout. Like, obviously, it's Mechagodzilla in his full form, not a city, which that's why it was put over City on the Edge of Battle too. And it just, this movie overall was just, I had more fun with it than I had with any other movie on the list. I think, period, other than number 1, I absolutely loved Ready Player One. Number 2. This one I struggled with. Again, it's another one where I was like, it could have been number 3. I could have switched it with Ready Player One. I think the reason I didn't is because currently in the era I'm in, what my personal interests are at the moment is Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my number 2 movie on the list. It was incredibly funny. It was a lot of fun. Very few jokes didn't land in here for me. I thought it was really funny. The animation style is something new that I've never seen before. I loved the way that it's a comic book brought on to screen in such a detailed and specific way. It's so great. I think that Into the Spider-Verse was amazing. And like I said, I really am into Spider-Man at the moment, so that's definitely what pushes it up on this list so high. It could have been, you know, I could have put it back on Fallout. Maybe I will in the future if I were to rework the list in retrospect. But at the moment, I thought Spider-Verse was awesome. Great visuals, great animation, great story, fun characters, awesome soundtrack. Number 1 on the list. The reason this one's number 1 on the list is because there's only one other movie that I have ever seen in my life that made me feel the way I felt when I watched this one in theaters, and that was Godzilla 2014. It was the first time I'd ever seen a Godzilla movie on theaters, and I had chills the whole time. I was freaking out. It was amazing. This is the only other movie that has made me feel that way when I was watching it in theaters. Avengers Infinity War. It is so good. There's so much great fan service in here. It's the payoff to 10 years of the MCU. I just thought Infinity War was incredible. It was such an experience to see opening day in IMAX with a huge group of people. It was actually, we saw the midnight showing, huge group of people. Everyone's there. Theaters filled up. A bunch of Marvel fans. Everyone's cheering. It was so good. The thing that, like that first time I saw it, I literally was like, I had chills the whole time. It's one of the only movies that I've ever seen that's like brought tears to my eyes of joy when I was like, yes, this is amazing. It's like, I don't know. It was such an event to see. I've grown up with the MCU for the past 10 years. I saw the first Iron Man in theaters when it came out back 10 years ago. Now I get to see Infinity War 10 years later. It's amazing. I don't know. This movie was just so good. I've never felt this way in a movie before since 2014. So I was so pleased with this movie. I don't know, what movies do you guys see in 2018 that are new 2018 movies? What's your top 10 list for 2018? Comment below, let me know. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man, out.